Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the First 90%. Today we have with us Rachel Mullen, founder of Now Now. Welcome Rachel to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So why don't you start by telling us who you are, what do you do, and just introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Hi everyone. My name is Rachel. I am from the United States and I am the co-founder of Now Now.
And what does Now Now do?
Sure. Now Now is an online language learning platform. We teach children how to speak English with Ivy League or top American university students.
Awesome. So we'll talk about your journey, we'll talk about your product, we'll also talk about what you have to offer and promote to all the audience as well, okay?
Awesome. Sounds good.
So Rachel, you are quite young and you are running your own company, which is quite successful, I've been told.
Thank you.
So we want to know what your childhood was like.
Sure.
Why did you decide on this path of entrepreneurship and specifically teaching English to young kids in foreign countries? So if you can tell us what your educational background is and what your childhood was like.
Sure. I think something really important about my childhood was that my parents always prioritized education. That was the number one thing starting at a very young age. So I have 5 younger siblings.
You have 5 siblings?
Yes.
Wow.
The oldest of 6 kids.
Okay.
5 girls and 1 boy.
Wow. Okay.
And every day my mom would drive us across the city. We lived in Toronto at the time. She would drive us 30 to 40 minutes to school every day, which automatically made me realize that, wow, my mom was willing to drive us far to get a good education.
Yes.
And every car ride, she'd always kind of give us pep talks and inspirational messages about working hard in school, about being a female leader, about the importance of being able to stand on our own 2 feet, about the importance of trying hard in school, what that would do for us, opening up new opportunities. And so from a very young age, I knew that it was important that I worked hard in school. I couldn't let my mom down. And I also needed to be a role model to my younger siblings who were following in my footsteps.
So your motivation at that age was that you wanted to not let your mom down.
Yes.
And where did that come from? Were you in a very close-knit family? What was your family like?
Sure. I think, yes, definitely. We were very close. Having 5 younger siblings, I think we spent a lot of time together. And I knew how much my mom cared about, myself and my younger siblings and helping us become good people, good leaders, good students, etc.
Why was it important for your mom to prioritize education? Did you ever know why it was?
Yeah.
What was her background like? Because it's not so common, at least in the United States, from my experience, to prioritize education to such a great degree. I know it's more common in Asia, for example.
Sure. So my mom grew up in a suburb of Boston, and she was from a big family herself. So she had 4 siblings, and she was able to kind of break out of the background that she had through education. So she worked really hard and ended up going to a boarding school for winter athletes because she was an incredible ski racer.
Okay.
And then transferring from St. Lawrence, a school in upstate New York, to an Ivy League school by working hard.
Okay.
And so she saw herself by working hard that she was able to achieve a lot in life and she was able to become a lawyer. Now she was from a family that didn't have a lot of money. So she basically had to work as a lifeguard over the summer to pay for her own school. She had to walk into the admissions office at UPenn and ask them for a scholarship. She had to take time off before law school in order to pay and turn down other law school opportunities to go to a school that she could afford. And so she kind of saw firsthand what it was like to come from a family that didn't have the financial means to provide that educational support for her. But through education, she was able to become an attorney. And so she wanted to give us all those opportunities and knew that education was the pathway to open up doors for us.
And so she was able to use her education to sort of break that glass ceiling.
Exactly.
That would have sort of been over her or given her family background.
Exactly.
I think that's a very interesting point, because I personally feel that the reason people in Asia, for example, or at least in India, they prioritize education is for the same reason.
Yes.
Because there is so much inequality and disparity, and people feel that education is that way to sort of break that glass ceiling and create a life that they would maybe not get otherwise.
1,000%.
Yeah. So you went to Yale, and I
Yes.
can see that you're wearing the Yale jersey as well. And Yale, of course, is maybe top university.
Yes. Ranked
Top-
technically number 3 in the
yeah,
US.
top 5 for sure in the US,
Yes.
Ivy League. So you must have been academically brilliant.
I mean, not brilliant, but I
Okay.
worked really hard.
Okay.
It was always about determination, working hard, and not just being a good student, but again, a good leader. So I did a lot of extracurriculars and activities growing up. So I
In
played.
Toronto?
Yes, but then my family moved to California.
Okay.
So I ended up applying to Yale when I was in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I was at a high school there. And I was like vice president of my school. I was captain of the soccer team. I was on the debate team, and I went to an international debate competition. So I did all of these extra things. And so when I applied to college, I think it was like, yes, I had all the grades. I had straight A's. I was valedictorian of my high school, which was one of the top schools in the US. But as well, I had a lot of extracurriculars where I really was able to kind of like shine and be a leader. And I think that's what a lot of colleges look for these days.
So how did you end up doing all of these things? So you were captain of the soccer team, you were
Yeah.
valedictorian, which means that you were
Yes.
ranking first in your class. You said you were vice president of your class.
Yep.
And what else? Your
Debate. So I went to
debate,
internationals,
How-
plus a bunch of other activities I'm forgetting.
Yeah, which you don't remember. So how did you end up doing all of these things? Because let's face it,
Yep.
even if people want to do it, it's not easy, right?
Sure.
And you were also saying that you were at one of the top schools in the US,
Sure.
so, which means that the competition was also harder. What were you
Definitely.
doing in your younger years, which sort of prepared you to be so confident and be able to do so many different things?
Good question. I feel like from a young age, I was just taught probably to be good at probably maybe multitasking, but also being able to handle a lot on my like plate. Like I've always been able to do a lot, and that's just kind of the way I live my life. And sometimes it can be stressful or overwhelming, but I'm used to having a lot going on. But I feel like when I have a lot going on, I'm actually like more successful in everything. I don't know if that makes sense, but I remember going to Yale and being shocked that all my classmates were like that too. Like everyone did a ton of extracurriculars.
Yeah.
Everyone was so active and involved. And that's how I've been my entire life.
Yeah.
And so even now running a company, right? It's like you have a billion things to manage, a billion things always on your plate. But that's what kind of makes me happy. And then I don't always sleep that much. So that's the way to get through it all.
And even at Yale,
Yeah.
you didn't just stop there, right?
No.
Even at Yale, you were the class president.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happened there?
Sure. Well, I was always interested in student council. So I was on student council for all 4 years of college.
Yeah.
And then I was class president for 2 years, my junior year and my senior
Oh,
year.
okay.
Yes. And so let's see, I mean, freshman and sophomore year, I was on a council with like 24 members and was able to contribute to a lot of ideas that helps the entire school community. So for example, I was like on the academics team and we brainstormed different academic policies that would help the student body. But then my junior year, I ran to be class president to create social events, academic events, etc., that would benefit our particular class. And so, for example, we had a Rhodes Scholar event. We had events with like the president of Yale, President Salovey. And yeah, I mean, I ran for class president and it was a difficult campaign. I remember I had to run events in the main like campus area outside and have like popsicle stands and flyers and just spread the word. And it was so effective that, yeah, I became class president and then senior year ran again and boom. But yeah, it was amazing because I was able to then impact just the whole student body, but as well become close with the administration and other leaders of the school community. And then it was a 5-year commitment post-college.
Oh, is
So
it?
yes. So now I've past that, I'm now almost about to be at my 10-year reunion, which is crazy. But we were involved in like running the alumni events, the Yale Harvard football game, which is a tradition that happens every year, reunion for our class. So it's been a great way to stay connected as an alum.
Yeah. Okay, so you graduated from Yale in which year?
2015.
2015.
Yes.
And 9 years later,
Yes.
you are running a successful edtech company called
Yes.
Now Now.
Yes.
And we'll put the link on the video as well.
Sure.
Can you tell us how that transition happened? What happened after college? How did you decide to start this company? When did you decide to start it? What does it exactly do?
Sure. So I've always been extremely interested in education. I knew growing up that education and medicine were two of the best ways that you can impact the world and help others. So I always thought, okay, I'd have a career in either the education space, teaching, something like that, or I'd want to become a doctor. So when I was in college, I was able to experience different teaching positions. I participated in this program called the Ulysses S. Grant Foundation, where 6 undergrads taught gifted New Haven public school students. So that's when I learned how to design my own curriculum from scratch, taught students in need of educational support, and fell in love with teaching. So then I continued to do different teaching extracurriculars at Yale throughout the rest of my time. And then I graduated and taught at a school in Koreatown, Los Angeles.
In Koreatown?
Yes. So I taught there for 3 years. I taught science for 2nd through 6th graders. I taught about 250 students. I was the only science teacher at the school. I was right out of college. I had my own assistant, which was pretty crazy because, I was like right out of college. And to tell you the truth, I was kind of thrown into it without much support. So I designed my own curriculum from scratch for every grade level. The curriculum was extremely hands-on. It was like a fusion of different areas of science. I was teaching organic chemistry, biochemistry, physics to 12-year-olds. And they were obsessed. They fell in love with science. They all wanted to become scientists. They all wanted to become doctors. And so that was just incredible, seeing the impact I could have on these young children. And just loving teaching so much. My 3rd year is when the idea for Nao Now came about. So my mom is my co-founder, and we decided take this innovative approach to teaching science and use that to teach English language students. And we knew that could have an impact on students worldwide. There's such a need for English language support across countries around the world. And in particular, we wanted to target Korea, because most of my students were from Korea at the school that I was teaching at. And we saw there was not only a need to help them with English fluency and speaking, but also cultural fluency and being able to close a lot of cultural gaps in knowledge. So we started creating lessons and we took off in the Korean market.
So you went from graduating from Yale and going and teaching in Koreatown in Los Angeles,
Yes.
right? And you literally could have had any job in the world
Yes.
after Yale.
Yes.
So what made you decide to take that decision?
So I wasn't 100% committed. I ended up studying for the MCAT and applying to medical school and leaving after 3 years to go to medical school. So I thought that teaching would be a temporary solution.
So that you can focus on your MCAT studies as well?
Exactly. So I loved teaching. But then I decided after 3 years, I want to become a physician. So I applied to become a doctor and I got into medical school, but that wasn't the right solution. So while I was in med school, I was working on Nao Now on the side and dropped out.
Oh, you did go to med school?
Yes, I went to medical school for 3 years.
Oh, for 3 years?
Yes. So in the US, you go to medical school for 4 years after undergrad, right?
Yeah.
So I went for 3 years and I dropped out my 3rd year in rotations. So while I was literally in the hospital with patients, I was so close to graduating, but I was working on Nao Now on the side. Medicine just wasn't my passion like education is. So I wasn't fulfilled. Medicine is amazing. It's so intellectually stimulating. You make such a difference in the lives of patients, but something was missing for me. And I couldn't kind of step away from teaching and education. And so when Nao Now took off, that was the perfect opportunity to leave medical school.
And this is during the pandemic?
Yes.
Okay.
So I dropped out in late 2020 to pursue Nao Now full time.
Okay. And do you ever think about, what would have happened if I didn't drop out, or maybe I shouldn't have dropped out, or maybe I should go back? Do you
Sure.
have these thoughts?
I mean, one night I had a actual nightmare about medical school.
Okay.
And I woke up and then I realized, okay, that was definitely the right decision.
Oh,
That
okay.
dream was a nightmare. I did take off, like I took a leave of absence.
Okay.
So I was able to return, and after 2 years that expired.
Okay.
And so I met with the dean of the medical school community, and he said, like, are you sure this is your last chance? You can always reapply, but reapplying is always difficult.
Yeah.
It's obviously difficult. And I said, yes, I'm 100% sure. And I have no regrets. I mean, running a startup is so intellectually stimulating. It encompasses so many different skills. I'm doing what I want to do, which is being in the space of education. So I definitely have no regrets.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Where do you get this confidence and conviction from? Because I see that not just in the decision that you took, but as you're sitting here and you're talking about your experience,
Yeah.
right? You come across as being super confident
Oh, thanks.
and convincing as well, not just for the audience, but also in yourself.
Sure.
You have this self-belief.
Wow.
Is that where does that come from? What experiences have you had that that allowed you to be so confident?
That's actually an interesting observation, because I would say that I wasn't always this way. I used to be extremely indecisive,
Okay.
and I still am sometimes. Like even medicine, I decided to defer my decision to go to medical school
Okay.
and was wavering. Do I go? Do I not? Do I go? Do I not? And I think when you waver and you're indecisive, that's when you're not truly passionate about a decision. Now I have more conviction because I know what I want to do, and I am confident about now. But in the past, I was so indecisive because medicine wasn't right for me. And so I was convincing myself that it was the right path, but it wasn't. So I feel like indecisive is when something's ambiguous, you're not sure, and you don't have that conviction. But now I think I have more conviction than I used to, related to any of my previous professional
What is it that you were
aspirations.
not liking about med school?
Yeah.
Like, what made you realize that, oh, this is not for me?
Good question.
Was it because it was hard? Was it because it was stuff that you were learning which you didn't enjoy?
So I think I realized I liked the study of science. So I love studying science. I love experiments. I loved learning chemistry, being in the lab.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily like the application of it and learning about the diseases and how it impacts the human body, and then the medicine and the drugs that you use and you prescribe to patients. When it became real life and now I was working with sick patients, it just was different than anything I'd ever studied. And I realized it wasn't the right decision for me. As well, this was actually a critical turning point for me. I remember very distinctly, we had this thing where basically you worked with something like with standardized patients, which are patients pretending,
Okay.
people pretending to be
To be
patients.
patients, yeah.
Yes. And so we were doing our psychiatry rotation. And so I was working with patients with mental health issues and mental illness. And I was treating a standardized patient, and a physician said to me, basically, I had too much energy,
Okay.
and that my tone and my energy wasn't appropriate for the patient in the situation. And I called my mom, and I was basically crying, and I said, this is not the field for me. Energy is something that really stands out for me in education. The students love it.
Yeah.
It's an asset. But in medicine, I was getting the opposite reaction.
Yeah.
And so I realized, oh my gosh, like I want to use my personality and my skills and who I am as a human being to impact a field. And I don't want to be told I need to change.
Yeah.
And so that was a critical turning point. And I left medical school a few weeks later.
Okay.
So-
Okay. So it seems like you have a very close relationship, close bond with your mom.
Yeah.
Because you've brought her in the conversation many times, and I know that she's also your co-founder
Yes.
in your company. What was your relationship as a child
Sure.
with her?
Sure, I've always been extremely close to my mom.
What are the things? What are your favorite memories? What are the things that you did with her?
Sure. Oh gosh. This is hard. I would say, I mean, I spent a lot of time with her growing up because I was the oldest.
Yeah.
And so I would say like I was given more responsibilities from her. And we did a lot of like family activities growing up, like going to the park or Maybe we had a surprise trip to Disney World when I was young, and that was incredible. Or what else? I don't know, going to soccer practice. And as the oldest, I would say like I had that special bond with her,
And you
getting
had
my
to take care
siblings
of your-
ready,
yeah, of
doing
the-
their hair, getting them ready for school,
Yeah.
helping them in the morning. And so I was very close to my mom and helping to keep track of my 5 younger siblings.
So you're already being a leader even as a child because you were leading all the other 5
Oh,
siblings.
yes.
Okay, so maybe that's where your skills and your confidence leadership skills come from.
Yeah, you're probably right.
What is something that you would like to say to younger people coming right out of college, wanting to start their own company, and especially maybe younger women who want to, and who are in that boat of, do I do it? Do I go for a job?
Sure.
And being that indecisive student that most students are, right? Like,
Yeah.
what advice would you like to give to them?
I think passion is the #1 thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right?
Yeah.
This is hard. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, running a company, harder than being in medical school, getting into medical school. It is so tough, and you have to be 100% in. Even the moments, there's so many ups and downs, you're probably going to want to quit every day.
Yeah.
And you have to just be passionate about the cause and what you're doing, and be ready to think on your feet and try new things every single day. I would say why it didn't work out for me in medicine was because I wasn't passionate.
Yeah.
I was always wavering. And so when it was hard, I didn't want to get through it.
Yeah.
And so I was constantly having that quitting mindset. And at the end of the day, I quit. And so I would say if you want to start something yourself, be 100% passionate about the cause. And yeah, I think I'm lucky. I don't know like your story, but like I think I'm lucky because I kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
And I was doing it on the side of being in medical school. And so that was kind of perfect. Then I dropped out once I had real traction. And so I have friends who just want to start a company, and then it doesesn't work out.
Yeah.
But for me, I fell into it, and then boom, we had traction, and now I can commit full time.
Yeah.
So if that's possible, try to implement that strategy. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
I think you said it in the first 3 words, right?
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah.
It's important, very important to know your why.
Yeah.
If you don't know why you're in it, you will most likely quit sooner
Yes.
than you think.
Yes.
Also, I feel that for both of us, we got lucky because money does come into the picture at some point.
Yes,
So
that's-
because you still need to support yourself, your family. So either you're able to raise from
Yeah.
investors or you have revenues early on, so you can keep going.
Yes.
Because passion won't pay the bills.
Yes, that's true.
So it will help you stay in it. It will help you go through the ups and downs.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess that there's that little bit of factor of luck or timing
Yes.
and being able to support yourself. I think that's like the hardest part for most people, that they want to do something, but then they're like, oh, okay, but how will I support myself?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's been tough for me. We bootstrapped our company for over 2 years, and
Yeah.
I haven't paid myself,
Oh, okay.
and still
Okay.
right now don't have a salary.
Yeah.
So it's been tough, and it's something you have to be able to commit to financially,
Yeah.
professionally,
Yeah.
and have all that passion and hope it will work out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not easy.
It's
for
not
sure.
easdon't whatsoever.
It's not easy for everyone who's listening. It might feel like, oh, it's so glamorous because you only see the big successes.
Yes.
But you don't. It takes 20 years to be an overnight success. Is what we always
1000%.
hear, right? And even for them, it's not been easy. Whoever has made it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So coming to your product,
Yes.
if people want to sign up for your product, if
Sure.
you can tell them what it is about, what is the reason they should sign up,
Sure.
and how can they sign up?
Sure. Okay. So if you're interested in improving your English skills or just learning more about American culture, how to get into an Ivy League school, how to have global opportunities, you should sign up for Now Now. So all you have to do is go to our website and click free trial. You can start with a free trial, so it's completely free. Try it a lesson and see if you like it. And if you like it, you can sign up for a package, 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. What you'll experience is this. You will experience a live lesson. It's all live with a mentor who is American with a native speaking accent from a great university. The lessons aren't on a platform like Zoom or Google Meet. We use a really fun game-based platform, kind of like Minecraft, our own platform, that is very fun and engaging. And each class, you get to choose a topic that you're interested in learning about. So you can learn about like the science behind Steph Curry's basketball shot, or Michael Jordan, I know you love basketball, or hamburgers, or the Statue of Liberty, or Times Square. And the topics are very fun and engaging. We primarily target kids. So if you're a mom or dad watching and you have a young child, this is perfect for them.
What age group?
4 to 12 years old. But we do have lessons for all ages. So if you're older than 12, you can try a lesson too. But yeah, sign up for a free lesson. It's completely free and you can see if you like it.
And it's for spoken English, not written English, right?
Yes, it emphasizes speaking and reading.
Okay.
We improve your speaking so that you'll sound like a native speaker. We also do have writing, but we recommend our speaking course.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, Rachel, for joining.
Thank
and
you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.